Hi everybody, we're here in Marvel Avengers Alliance 2 for patch 1.3's updates. So there's been some considerable changes to the game over here, and for the most part, I would say that they are good. But, there's a few things we need to talk about. The first thing that was mentioned in the patch notes is that navigating around the hero tabs is going to be a little bit faster. I've noticed that it does tend to cache things a little bit quicker, and once you look at the different tabs on a hero and you switch heroes, those tabs on that hero will load faster. So if I look at all the tabs over here on Luke Cage, you'll notice it's kind of slow, but not too bad. Now remember, this is running on Nox emulation, so if you have a relatively high-powered tab or phone, this will be a little bit quicker. Honestly, if you want the best experience with Marvel Avengers Alliance 2, an NVIDIA Shield is definitely one of the best things you can do. The game is beautiful on that tablet and super fast. Also, Samsung Galaxy Tab 4 and higher tend to play these nice. So, as you can see here, we're now a little bit quicker, and we're not even getting that long of a load symbol anymore. So now that it was fast with Luke Cage, if I go over to, say, Captain Marvel, you'll notice it's nearly instant. Not super instant, but just about. So we can definitely feel the power there. Store is one of the biggest changes. Now, I'm going to get this out of the way right here and talk about it, and then we'll go ahead and get into the rest of the store in the video. If you highly dislike Playdom slapping purchasable things in your face with big highlights and neon signs and buy me, buy me, buy me, and this is the Ninja Coffee Espresso Bar with sulfita vagata at 3:30 in the morning for a half hour on your station, and you're like, where is my show? Why am I listening to sulfita vagata talk about Ninja Coffee Espresso and shit for 30 minutes? If you detest that, and you don't like buy me, new and improved, sell, 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 hit open cells and make it go away. And now you are just looking at your nice little helicarrier core, and you got your cells down here, and it's peaceful, and it's quiet, and consumerism can go fuck itself. That's what you get by hitting this button. But if you're okay with that, and personally, I don't care. If you are not of the mindset that Playdom is a bunch of grab-handy greedy shits, then it's okay. You can look at these and then it won't bother you. But if you're somebody who is beginning to be like, goddamn Playdom, they just want you to spend lately, hit open cells and get your nice Zen garden of peaceful quietness. And note that Samuel Jackson's Nick Fury is behind here, just waiting for you to buy stuff so he can pop his head out and talk about all these motherfucking cells on these motherfucking helicarriers. But here, meanwhile, back at the store, we have these super red cells on sale. By the way, the game has gotten confusing with the cells now, but the best way to tell the cells apart is the fringe on the cells. If you look at this red cell, you'll notice it's a silver cell with a red stripe down the center of it, and it has no adornments. This cell has like a black tablet bumper case over it. It's got the spikes on the side. It's got the bumpers on the top, like it's going to protect it from shock. That's how you can tell this is better than that. So that's kind of what they're going for, and we'll see that on the gold cells a little later. But 95 gold for 10 2-star ability cells. That's what this is. An empirical cell is a high chance to give you a 2-star set of abilities. Not heroes, but you can gain 2-star abilities and AP from the store. If you have the ability, of course, you convert it into purple points. This is your mixed bag of unstable ISOs. That's the universal that can apply to anybody. This is an expensive as hell set. You get 50 gold for $60, 3,000 shield points, 25k silver, 2 legendary cells. A legendary cell is a high chance to give you a 3-star hero. That's what this is. Obviously, you're not going to... Well, I mean, you can get a hero you own and will convert it to purple points, but if you are a beginner-ish player, somebody who has not played the game when it was in the limited release, somebody who maybe encountered the game half a month after it was released, somebody who's frustrated with PvP or Spec Ops because you don't have a lot of heroes, they're weak, you're maybe struggling to level things in this game, this is probably the package for you. But whereas the first half of this is noob friendly, chunky gold, lots of purple points, good silver base, powerful heroes, semi-powerful abilities, tons of low-level abilities, this is more advanced over here. There is a big gap between when you can use this and it means something to you than this. This is basically like you got a gift on Christmas, but you live in Alaska and the nearest town is 200 miles away by air and the thing has no batteries. So you have to wait until the storm is over to get in your little Cessna and fly to that town and get a bunch of D-cell batteries. That's what this is down here. So kind of beginner friendly, not a lot of heroes, want to build up a roster, haven't been playing for a while. Boom. Advanced player, nearing 30s in their heroes, needing to train heroes at 30. Kind of weird. There's some of this applies to middle, but this is like a very big sandwich. It's beginning and end. You have this universal pack, pretty cheap, 5,000 silver, and 2 random ISO 8s. Not that much value. This one I can see helping people out. This one, Here is, of course, the superior power cells. This is what I like to spend my gold on. Anytime I would get to a point where spending 25 gold on this doesn't get me any lower than 345, 350 gold, this is where I was coming to, but I need to come back to this a little later in the video to talk about. And then, of course, ISO cells, that's your, see, blue and blue. Gold, notice the little bumpers over here, but no bumpers. Yeah, so this is the cell that gives you gold. Well, no, I take that back. Is this the one that gives you gold? No. There's the gold cell that gives you random amounts of gold. And then there's the gold cell that gives you heroes. And when it comes down to it, people either have good luck or bad luck. I have had amazing luck since the changes. I have only gotten below 5 once, and that was 3. I routinely get 8s and 10s. So this is the new cell. It's all gold and no silver. So that's the rank of it. If it has silver in it, it's a weak cell. If it has gold in it but no bumpers, it's the gold bars. And if it's gold with the don't drop it and break it bumpers on it, it's the heroes. So that's how you can tell them apart. Over here, under resources, 1,000 for 50. Not too bad. Barricading crystals. So this is a shield of 50% health, which is getting less common and dropping. 10,000 silver for 20 gold. Not too bad. This is the new ultra powerful ISO gas. They changed the graphic, but this is, you know, this was the highest one. They just moved it a little bit and moved things around, made fancy. This opens up a Spec Ops, and then you have, for $5, kind of a mid-tier progression pack over here. And then you have the same pack, but for in-game currency, the level 20s and the level 30s. Now, this is where you start getting middle-of-the-road value. This would be, like, for me, maybe a month ago, this would have been good. And this is what I would be nearing in terms of what is of value to me in the game now, starting to get the 30 packs. Here you have gold for cash. I actually don't think the conversion is very good in this game. I don't think it's Contest of Champions bad, but I don't think this is Marvel Future Fight good, and I think it even lags behind Marvel Avengers Alliance 1 a little bit. $10 only giving you 68 gold, and the fact that you can spend 50 gold pretty easily, and 25 gold on a task you want to skip, I don't think the value is that good. So, I said I was going to talk about gold cells and their value, the hero gold cells. For me, I'm probably going to start hoarding my way up towards 400 now to maybe get the 10 for 95, because I only have one hero left that can come out of a gold cell. Age of Ultron Vision. This is Spec Ops. This is Spec Ops, but I'm not going to do because I went Buddy. Gold cell, PvP, 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 chapter, 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 chapter. So, honestly, dumping money into the hero cells now isn't what I'm going to be looking at doing. I would probably get around 400 and then dump into this. And even this is going to lose value pretty quickly because I'll eventually catch up and get all the 2-star abilities, and you can also purchase them for purple points. But if your purple points are running low and you want to get abilities, this may get value for you. If you've got a lot of purple points and you want to get specific abilities, just buy them on the hero tab. Now, there have been gameplay changes over here. And that is visible in when you are doing missions and everything. We now have autoplay. I don't know if we have autoplay in PvP. I haven't tried it yet, which I'm going to do now. After I change an ability for Wasp over here. When I do PvP, I like to give her Drone Swarm. Just because it helps not to get my ass kicked a little bit by weakening people. The season has started to smooth out for me a little bit, but occasionally I still run into teams that just start like one-shotting people, but it's not as bad as it was in the beginning of the season. When I sent a ticket to Playdom like, hey, when your game in the last big patch was buggy, and I went and updated my ISOs not knowing that technically they were broken, you know, I burnt some ISOs and I got my ass kicked in PvP. What are you going to do about it? And they're like, oh, well, you know, the developers were aware. We're not really too sure what reimbursements we're doing, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we do have autoplay. Now, you see this 2? There are 2 speeds. 1 is normal, and 2 is, like Marvel Avengers Alliance 1's, fast combat. I think in PvP, it may be better for you to do 1, so you're aware of everything that's going on and aren't missing everything. If you hit what looks like the Android menu button, you can get some settings over here. Music on, sound on, and then for autoplay, stop when you get to a boss, stop if somebody dies, skip dialogues if the mission is complete, and I don't know what combat cameras is. So if anybody knows that, let me know. And then, of course, it reminds you of the rock, paper, scissors, lizards, Spocks, cats, dogs, grass, rain, weeds. That little wheel there. So I'm not going to do autoplay in PvP. It's kind of handy in PvE, but if you have a tank like my Wasp, you want to make sure you set... Oh, I'm not getting my ass kicked here. You want to make sure you set up the tanking first, then turn on autoplay. Because if you don't, it doesn't seem like the AI really starts the tanking. Now, if you are tanking and it comes time to refresh, yes, the AI will refresh your tanking abilities. Nice. Alright, so we're 1 up. Hulk didn't do too much damage to my Wasp. She's about dead. Her shield... Good God! God, oh fucking mighty. Man, I can't stand that. Doing good, and then out of nowhere, everything just goes to shit. Honestly, you would almost think that Hulk was controlled by a human there. Set up the Confident, and then just blew everybody away with a big AoE. And, of course, she would do recovery. But, yeah, so now that I know pretty much how the rest of this battle is gonna go over here, now would be a fairly good time to turn on the speed. But autoplay, yeah. Autoplay will up here. Come on! They were doing such little damage. Just fucking superstar Hulk there. If you have autoplay on, be aware that in your next fight, autoplay will be on. So if you're doing PvE stuff, and you're like, okay, this is, you know, easy combat over here, let me turn on autoplay, Wasp's tank, and Luke Cage tank, whatever. And that mission is done, and then you click on your next little pip on the mission map, autoplay will be there. That is something that I think for most people, they probably get value out of it. The fact that I know you have to set your tank up, that's slightly annoying. But as you can see, I mean, the animations and all the tooltips get pretty quick when it's on 2. Oh, here we go again. Yep, better weaken these guys before Hulk slams my whole party over here. Good. Nice damage there. I know Thor is gonna set off his bonus, but after the last Hulk, I want to do everything I possibly can to get rid of this guy, so... Alright, yep. Ooh, nice. Damn, Spidey fell easy to that. Yeah. These guys are weak. These guys are 23. I almost had the last match. If it wasn't for Hulk's AoE, I really wasn't having a problem there, so... That's what I mean by PvP smoothing out a little bit. When you're doing good, you lament the loss of the streaks. When you're losing, you're happy there is no more streaks. But to be honest, you know, there was a lot of people who lost heavily in the beginning of the season and went on lose streaks, and it was tough to make it back because you didn't have win streaks. So, there we go, guys. There are the changes in patch 1.3. So, for the store, it's neither... I mean, it's up to you whether you think the new store is good or bad. I feel the old store was kind of like, here's your stuff for your existing resources first. That's where the highlight is. This is your blues, your golds, your reds, your greens. You're free for the day. You're free for the few hours. Then it was, here's your purchasables. If you're like me that has tons of stuff, you're only really looking at the stuff you can do. And then you kind of have to scroll for the stuff you can buy. Now it's all about 30-minute infomercials about Sofita Vergara's Ninja Coffee special and shark vacuums and how to lose weight with Chuck Norris and Christy Brinkley. It's all right in your face. And to get to your peaceful Zen stuff, you know, I mean, you can open it right here too. What I do like is the fact that you now have open 10. When I kind of go on some scouting and some missions and some spec ops and the reds get high, I'm like, oh god, I'm suddenly up to 100. It was down 75. The fact that I can slap an open 10 is really cool. Maybe dangerous if you accidentally click 10 and you're like, ooh, I didn't want to do that, but you may dislike the fact that this is very consumer over here and just in your face. The combat changes with the speed and everything, I absolutely like. If you have older devices, just turning on that speed and making the text go by quick. Autoplay is good if you know you're ahead of the content. I don't trust autoplay if you're equal or slightly below the content. You know, if Wasp is tanking a bunch of 25s, fine. If it was as hard as the Spec Ops was, when the Spec Ops was fresh for me, I wouldn't go near autoplay with a stolen Hawkeye, honestly. I wouldn't pick up Hawkeye by his ankles and beat autoplay with his head under those circumstances. But if you have faith in the team to just overpower things, do it. If you're not concerned with setting up a tank, do it. If you do want to make sure your tank is protecting maybe some weaker people that you're leveling, you may want to be a little bit more careful with autoplay. So guys, there you go. There's the updates to Marvel Avengers Alliance 2. Give a like to the video if you do like it and appreciate it. And if you've got any comments, please start a discussion below. That helps make the video popular. See you, everybody.